Park, it's come to life. That's what we're witnessing in this hospital room right here.
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is.
South Park has done a...
What happens when a royal love story turns into a global cautionary tale? What begins as fairy tale glamour ends in a media circus no one can escape.
A bit of a laugh at Harry and Meghan's expense because I've finally caught up with this South Park episode.
It's quite vicious in a way, but quite funny as well.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry once had the world's admiration, but now they've become the punchline. From their dramatic exits and contradictory interviews to PR stunts that backfire faster than a bad joke, today we're pulling back the curtain. The story the tabloids only scratch the surface of is far more revealing than anyone expected. So buckle up. Because this isn't just a story about a couple, it's a deep dive into how a royal romance unraveled into worldwide ridicule.
You gotta be kidding me. I've brought plenty of conflict to the show.
I'm sorry, Meghan. It's just not working out. All you talked about all season was your line of ketchup.
It's so funny, too, that you keep calling me Meghan. You know, it's Meghan now.
I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
People were saying meh. It's not meh. It's pronounced me. The H is...
It all started with a wedding that captured global attention. Meghan Markle, an American actress, marries Prince Harry, the charming British royal who had long been seen as the fun-loving, rebellious brother. The union was hailed as a modern shift for the monarchy. Fresh, diverse, global. But what should have been the start of a new chapter quickly turned into one of the most bizarre public image collapses in recent memory.
I don't know what to do. How are we gonna pay for school for Archie?
I have to tell you, I never realized so many things cost money. Like this chicken. I bet you had to pay for it.
I'm sorry, I'm just really stressed. We're completely out of money.
Maybe it's time we dip into your fortune from Suits.
There is no fortune.
Within months, headlines went from celebrating the royal couple to questioning their every move. Instead of focusing on their philanthropic efforts, the spotlight shifted to something else entirely. Contradictions, complaints, and controversy. Meghan and Harry weren't just redefining royal duties, they said they wanted privacy over and over again. Yet every few weeks, another interview, documentary, or podcast dropped, each one revealing more about their private struggles while also throwing other members of the royal family under the bus. It became a pattern. Speak out, play the victim, cash the check, and then act surprised when backlash followed. That's not privacy. That's a PR playbook. Then came the infamous Oprah interview. With carefully lit sets and dramatic pauses, the couple dropped bombshell after bombshell, many of which later came under scrutiny for lacking context or factual backing. Rather than using the platform to advocate for issues bigger than themselves, they made it all about their personal grievances. It was less of a humanitarian message and more of a carefully choreographed pity party. And let's talk about the Netflix documentary. What was meant to be a heartfelt docuseries about their journey became a montage of passive-aggressive jabs at the royal family, along with glossy shots of Meghan posing by windows and Harry looking contemplative. At some point, the story shifted from reality to self-curated fiction. Even casual viewers began noticing how rehearsed it all felt. The sincerity they once inspired began to disappear. Behind the scenes, insiders began leaking that Meghan wasn't exactly the team player she appeared to be. Former palace staff spoke up, reports of bullying, rumors of shouting matches, alleged late-night emails demanding things be done her way. While nothing was ever officially confirmed, it painted a picture that didn't line up with the carefully managed public image. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's own transformation became just as shocking. Once a military veteran and beloved public figure who connected with the British people through genuine service, he started to appear lost, like a sidekick in his own story. His memoir, Spare, promised insight and honesty, but instead felt like a personal diary no one asked to read. Complaints about bedrooms at Balmoral, jealousy over his brother's hairline, and decades-old grudges made headlines for all. The worst part, they never seemed to take responsibility. Every problem was always someone else's fault. The media, the palace, the staff, the public. At no point did they stop and ask if maybe, just maybe, they were the ones driving the chaos. Then came the South Park episode. A moment that should have been ignored, laughed off even, became the very thing that exposed the cracks.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I kind of took you out of your natural habitat. I'm surprised you're still breathing.
It's so nice to have you back in London, Meghan. I've missed our little lunches.
We've never had lunch together, Kate.
Well, we must continue the tradition.
The animated parody was brutal. It mocked their contradictions, their constant search for attention, their cries for privacy. But instead of rising above it, Meghan's team reportedly threatened legal action. They didn't just fall into the trap, they activated it. And the internet, it had a field day. Hashtags exploded, memes were endless, reaction videos flooded YouTube. Suddenly, Meghan and Harry weren't just being criticized, they were being laughed at, and nothing kills a brand faster than becoming a joke. Every attempt to fight back only made it worse. Meghan released a highly produced video meant to reclaim the narrative. It flopped. Viewers didn't believe it. Comments were filled with sarcasm. And as her video stagnated at a few dozen views, South Park's roast climbed into the millions. But the real damage wasn't digital, it was behind closed doors. Hollywood, once eager to work with the couple, started to back away. Advertisers became hesitant. Talent agencies reportedly began viewing them as liabilities. The Meghan and Harry brand became too unpredictable, too risky. It wasn't about numbers anymore. It was about narrative volatility. And yet they kept pushing forward. Another podcast, another press release, another awkward red carpet appearance. But the public was over it. Even their once loyal fan base began asking hard questions. What exactly are they doing? What's the goal? Advocacy or attention? The answer became clearer with every passing day. This wasn't about charity. It wasn't about family. It was about relevance. A constant fight to stay in the spotlight, even if it meant burning every bridge along the way. Ironically, the more they spoke, the less people listened. And when people did listen, they didn't feel empathy. They felt exhaustion. It's one thing to share your story. It's another to weaponize it endlessly. And let's not forget the contradictions. Meghan claims she didn't know who Prince Harry was before they met, yet in the same breath, she spoke about watching the royal family on television as a child. She claimed she gave up everything to marry into the monarchy, but kept her Hollywood PR team and continued signing lucrative deals. Harry, too, contradicted himself. He blamed the press for ruining his life, then released a tell-all book and a 6-part series. He attacked the royal family for being out of touch while living in a multi-million-dollar mansion in California and partnering with luxury brands. The disconnect was staggering. Even their philanthropic ventures raised eyebrows. Their foundation, Archewell, was meant to be a force for good, but it's been plagued by staffing changes, vague initiatives, and very little transparency. Critics started wondering, is this about charity? Or just another way to stay in the headlines? Their brand spiraled further when Meghan hinted at political ambitions, only to pull back when backlash erupted. It became clear that everything was about testing waters, trying different narratives, seeing what stuck. There was no clear purpose and only constant reinvention, always centered on their personal struggles. At one point, Harry even compared his wife to his late mother, Princess Diana, a move many found offensive and tone-deaf. Diana was beloved because she gave herself to causes without needing cameras to follow her every move. Meghan, on the other hand, seemed to thrive on curated exposure. The comparisons didn't hold. What once felt like a brave escape from royal constraints started to look like a calculated rebranding. A leap not toward privacy, but toward Hollywood fame. And unlike the royals, the public didn't have to pretend to approve. They started tuning out. The final blow may not have been a scandal, but fatigue. Public attention is a currency, and Meghan and Harry spent theirs recklessly. Constant media exposure, mixed messaging, and self-promotion created a storm they couldn't control. The public got tired, the media stopped caring, and Hollywood stopped calling. Even now, Meghan and Harry seem determined to reclaim the spotlight, but each attempt feels more forced than the last. The sparkle has faded. The narrative has worn thin, and the audience that once applauded now sighs every time a new project drops. Behind the glamour and the headlines lies the uncomfortable truth. They had it all. The platform, the influence, the goodwill, and they traded it for noise. They mistook sympathy for support. They confused interest with admiration. And in the end, they misunderstood the power of authenticity. You can't demand privacy while inviting cameras into your home. You can't preach about compassion while launching personal attacks. And you can't stay relevant by repeating the same story again and again. Meghan and Harry wanted to be different, and in a way, they succeeded. They became the first modern royals to lose the public not through scandal, but through saturation. Not because of what they did once, but because of what they wouldn't stop doing. The fall of Meghan and Harry isn't about a cartoon. It isn't about a single interview or an awkward dance video. It's about years of decisions that chipped away at their credibility, their charm, and their purpose. As of now, their story remains unfinished. But one thing is clear. If they want to change the narrative, they'll have to stop trying to control it. Real trust can't be managed by PR. Real respect can't be bought with views. And real influence, it comes from humility, not headlines. And so the question remains, will Meghan and Harry step back and reflect, or will they double down yet again chasing the spotlight that's slowly fading from their grasp? Only time will tell. But for now, the world watches with tired eyes, no longer cheering, no longer booing, just waiting for the next twist in a story that should have ended chapters ago.